All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here, and we just had such a great segment there for Panorific Mondays, and it was, you know, that pan when it's in your system, you know, you just can't help but to move, right?
You
just feel it. But anyway, let's switch things up a little bit. Good morning to all of you who are just joining us. If you are just joining us, you are quite late, but don't worry, you're going to have a great rest of the morning because we're going to make sure that we do that for you. And now we're about to answer the question, what's on the menu? Joining me this morning to disseminate some information and tell us about this topic we're going to speak about. It is Amber Charles, and she's a registered dietitian and nutritionist at the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Nutritionists and Dietitians, also known as TANDI. Good morning, Amber, and welcome.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us this morning. So today we're speaking thyroid health and nutrition.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to thyroid health, let's outline some of the issues that someone can have based on their thyroid, like if there's any disorder with the thyroid.
Okay, definitely. So the thyroid is that gland that's found at the base of the neck, and it controls your metabolism. So sometimes you may hear someone say that they have a really fast metabolism or a very slow metabolism,
right,
and that's really referring to how well your thyroid is functioning.
I see.
So if your thyroid is not functioning optimally, you can have too much thyroid hormone being produced or too little, and it can affect your metabolism, yes, but also it affects your nervous system, your heart, your body temperature regulation, your skin condition, your hair. So it generally tends to affect your overall health and well-being.
All right, so how do you know we have a healthy thyroid gland?
Definitely not by looking or just how you feel,
right,
but ideally if you got like lab tests, you can check for your thyroid stimulating hormone levels, your T3, T4 hormones. So those are the hormones that are produced by the thyroid gland. So having medical inquiry or having your lab work done is the best way to determine if you are having a thyroid disorder. You may otherwise get symptoms like fatigue, unintentional weight loss or weight gain. You may feel difficulty with regulating body temperature. So there are ways, but these symptoms are not always very specific. So the ideal way is to get your lab work done to determine what's really going on the inside.
So, so really what you're saying is that you wouldn't know, you know, whether or not you have a healthy thyroid unless you're experiencing some type of symptom that prompts you to go get it checked out.
Sometimes, yes, because some people do experience symptoms that may prompt them to go get checked out, while there are other persons who may have things like thyroid nodules or thyroid cancer, and they may not have symptoms. So in that annual checkup that's, you know, recommended for everyone, you may want to ask your doctor, can you also run a thyroid panel, right, to really see how things are functioning internally.
All right. So what are the ways in which a thyroid can become unhealthy?
So a thyroid can become unhealthy. The most common way is through the negative impact on your immune health. So we call that autoimmune, where your immune system attacks the thyroid gland, right, and it can cause either underactive or hypothyroidism, where there's too little thyroid hormone, and that's often known as like Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Or it can also cause overactive or too much thyroid hormone being produced in hyperthyroidism, like Graves' disease. Other things include sometimes medication, depending on the medication. If you're having cancer treatment, it can affect the thyroid gland as well. Some lifestyle factors, poor sleep, poor nutrition can have a negative impact on your thyroid gland.
No, there are a lot of things that people that don't like medication and such, but they prefer to do things in a more natural way. What are some ways that you can use nutrition to help, you know, any thyroid disorder, hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism?
Definitely, that's what I'm here for. So there are some key nutrients that we pay attention to. Those nutrients work very closely with the function of the thyroid gland, and those may include vitamin D, okay, selenium, iron, iodine, vitamin B12, right, and we want to pay attention to cutting out or cutting down on some of those highly processed foods that may have too much sugar, saturated fat. You also pay attention to the amount of fiber that you're getting, because it's going to help to regulate that intestinal or your bowel movements. We like to talk about that a lot. And you want to have a diet that's going to have a variety of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, including your ground provisions, fish, fatty fish, and some healthy fats such as coconut oil, olive
Mhm.
oil. I just want to have a variety, nutrient dense diet.
All right. So you're really speaking about a balanced diet, but one that includes the vitamins that you mentioned earlier and such and all.
Yes,
And I guess, well,
yes.
quickly before we go, what are some of the foods that you can get some of these things, especially selenium, which is, I guess, not a very common vitamin or mineral that
Yeah,
we're used to hearing about.
it's a bit, that's true. It is a bit difficult to get, particularly if you may be allergic to shell food because it is rich in shell foods. You can get it in Brazil nuts or
Okay.
walnuts as well. So
Yeah.
if you pick up a handful of those, two Brazil nuts can give you your daily intake of selenium or your requirement of selenium.
All right.
You also have things like what we call fatty fish, which will be your mackerel, herring, salmon, local salmon, tuna, and sardines. Those are excellent sources of getting some of those healthy fats, the omega-3s, vitamin D, and some selenium as well. So
Wonderful.
those are
Amber,
some
that's all we
key
have
things
time
you
for
can pay
this morning. I need
attention.
to stick a pin in it, but I want to thank you so much for your time this morning, and thank
No
you for the
problem.
information on, helping to deal with thyroid issues with nutrition rather than with medication. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.